have noticed a common message that's showing up everywhere for quite some time now. I'm sure you've noticed as well. This message that's being directed at us, especially those of us in midlife, that your metabolism is broken or your hormones are working against you. And that's why you can't lose fat anymore. And I absolutely believe, and I know that menopause is bringing real changes. Our hormones are shifting, sleep can change, recovery can feel different, and building and maintaining muscle becomes that much more important. You know, I talk about this day in and day out. But I also think it's worth asking a bigger question. Are we helping women by convincing them that they're broken? Or are we helping them by giving them a better understanding of how their bodies actually work? And that's the conversation I want to have today. So let's get into it. Hey girl, welcome back to another episode of Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar and you. Today it's just me and you. Have some exciting things to talk about today. Well, I think they're exciting. I was inspired to do this episode this week. I'll explain why in just a moment. But first, what updates do we have? Well, let's see. I'm still taking care of a mama kitty and 4 kittens. And yesterday, I thankfully was able to go and take mama kitty to get her fixed. So I'm thankful because the Gulf Coast Humane Society here has helped me out, and they were able to set me up with a nonprofit that did it. It was so great. So Mama Kitty now is home, and she's in ICU. That's the guest bathroom. She's recovering from surgery. And then we've got, the 4 kittens. And I'm like, did you know it's kitten season? Did I tell you that? Yeah. Apparently, but somebody laughed and said, yeah, but it's always kitten season. But I don't know. Some of these people on these rescues and these shelters say it's kitten season. So it's a hard time. Excuse me just a moment. I have to do a little cough here. I didn't want to stop the recording. And so, putting these kittens on social media and like the different Facebook groups that are out there, like I hardly stand a chance because everybody's posting kittens. Yeah. Well, I haven't given up, and it looks like the Gulf Coast Humane Society is going to step up and help me some more to help me find some homes for these kittens. I offered to continue fostering them. I'm not just going to surrender them, which I could. I don't know. I just feel a certain, I don't know how to describe it. I don't feel like I have to. I could just give them up, surrender them somehow to a shelter, get rid of them. I could get rid of them. But I just believe that they're here in my life for a reason. So anyway, tomorrow, and by the way, I'm recording my podcast today and it's Thursday. I'm on time today. Tomorrow, I have an appointment to take all 4 of the kitties to get vaccinations at the Gulf Coast Humane Society. So I'm excited, and they're going to help me, and they're going to help me foster the kittens, and they're going to help me find homes. Yay! So that's the update on the kittens. Other news is life stuff is lifing. It's heavy. It's not fun. Yesterday was a tough day on me and very emotional day, but step by step, we're getting through this. Too shall pass. Everything is temporary. Okay, so now let's get into our topic. So this past week, I don't know what it is. The marketing is rampant on social media, and I don't know if you see it as much. I personally, I'll be really upfront about this. I personally do not scroll social media very much as far as a consumer. I'm not on there to consume. Now, from time to time, I might for a moment, but I'm rarely ever on there just consuming content. But I do notice, and when I notice certain ads and things like this coming across my scroll, if it's another coaching program or something like that, I typically will click hide, or I don't want to see this anymore, because I just don't ever want to be here to compare how I coach and Rock That Fitness programming to what anybody else out there is doing. Okay. But anyway, that's aside from the point. There's just a lot of marketing going on. It has to do with directing this marketing that's directed, especially to women in midlife, those of us over 40, those of us dealing with hormonal changes, and we're in midlife, and they know what women in midlife are looking for. They know your fears. They know your insecurities. They know your struggles. They know that you're dealing with trying to lose weight and you're frustrated and you've done all these things. Like, they're out there marketing directly to you. And this past week, it just for some reason really was glaring me in the face. Not just the menopause conversation, which it's real. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this episode, right? But also GLP-1 and, the peptides and all of these things that they're really marketing it. Now, I want to separate this conversation real quick here. I'm not here to say I'm for or against, GLP-1 or the, peptides and all these kind of things. Like, I'm like, don't guess and don't think, or maybe so you need something. Just talk to your doctor and see if it's for you. I'm here to support you and just be a support for you. I'm happy to answer questions if I know, but I will not go out of my scope. But I just want to encourage you with these ads that are out there. This is why I could go on a rant, but I'm not going to. But one of the things that has occurred to me, and I feel like this is like a confession, like, confess. I have a confession to make. And I didn't do anything like intentionally, but I don't know, like, I'm realizing, this is crazy, please forgive me, but I'm realizing that apparently my point of view and how I think about things and how I perceive things is so different than a lot of people. And here's my confession. I'm realizing, like, duh, it's a lot to do with the fact that I am a nurse. And in nursing school, you are taught to think critically. You have you are trained in the skill of critical thinking. And this is the reason that I am not fast to make decisions or to come to a conclusion, because my critical thinking mind will ask other questions before I just believe anything. And this is probably why these ads get on my last nerve, because they will just blatantly say something like, I know you think, your metabolism is broken and your hormones are acting against your body. It's like a blanket statement. Who said that? Is it true? Who are you to decide what my body is doing? Like, this kind of stuff. And that's why I feel compelled to do this episode. Because what I am learning more and more as I have continued to be in business as a health and fitness coach, a mindset coach for women over 40 to help them truly find lasting change, is that how I approach things is very different than most programs that are out there selling you a fat loss program, a fitness program, a weight loss program. And my approach is so different. And it's like, I'm having like an aha moment today. And maybe I've had this aha moment before, so please don't even go there, because I don't have the best memory. But today I'm having an aha moment. Okay, good. So the aha is like, I'm realizing that I'm kind of like getting a look at the women that I coach, and the women that I coach who are successful in achieving their fat loss goals and continuing to keep showing up and becoming the best version of themselves, continuing to show up in ways that they hadn't in the past, changing their behaviors, their patterns, their thinking. These women that I tend to work with and that have success in their health and their fitness and in their life as they're, as we are working together, I've noticed a trend. It's women who want to be educated, who want to understand what's going on with their body, who don't just take somebody else's word for it. They will look into it and they ask questions. This is a big deal. It's a big deal because people in general who are successful in any area of their lives, one of the biggest traits of successful people is asking questions. Asking questions. Why? And how come? And how do you know? And let's get curious. Is this true? Or is this a story? Is this a narrative? How long have I been thinking this? And where did I come up with? Asking all the questions. Successful people do that. So anyway, I was compelled because, and this whole like aha moment sort of kind of happened a little bit, started to happen when I had a conversation with my dear friend and peer in the industry of health and medicine. My friend Olga Geisler, she's a nurse, right? And if you've been around, you've heard her on my podcast. She's a nurse coach, and we were having a very long conversation the other day, and this came up, and it was like, oh yeah, that's why I ask so many questions all the time. And it's funny because we were having this conversation. This is a long intro, I know. How many minutes in? We're already 10 minutes in. Just a second. Just give me one more minute to explain why I'm so compelled for this episode. You see, Country Boy, he'll say something to me, and I've noticed I sort of have like this immediate, it's a trained response to ask a curious question or to not doubt, but he thinks it's argumentative, but for me, it's a discussion. Please tell me what's making you think this, or have you thought about this? And it becomes where it feels like I'm arguing. Like, wait a minute. In all innocence, I am truly just trying to better understand, and I'm curious because I don't want to just believe something because somebody said it. So it's fascinating too, because I've noticed that whenever someone is a potential client, they will tend to go away if I'm asking questions that are data driven and the facts. Because some women, let's face it, they don't want to face the facts. They want to stay with their emotions. They want to stay with their narrative. They want to stay with their story. And for those women, I'm not your person. I'm not, and I'm okay with that. And I love you too, but I'm not your coach because that doesn't work. The women that I work with and we work well together, they are ready to take a look at what has happened, what is happening, and what are we going to do about what's happening. Let's put a plan in place. Now let's do the plan, and now let's evaluate and assess what happened, and let's check the data. Let's check the facts. So anyways, that's why I was compelled to do this episode. And also just this episode is a reminder to you. I know if you've been a long-time listener, thank you for listening. Thanks for being here, girl. And this will probably be either like a reminder to you, or maybe there's some things in here you hadn't thought about. But I want you to be an informed consumer. And that's one of my topics. Actually, I have, let's see how many points that I was going to cover today. I have, looks like about 7 points. I'll try to get through these quickly. Let's take a swig of the water, chugging the jug from my nurses call the shots cup. Can you see me today? I have a little bit of a tan. I went to the beach this morning. I did my steppy steps on the beach today, and I did it in my bikini. Did I do it in my bikini because I wanted everybody looking at me in my bikini? No, I did it because I didn't want to get a farmer's tan. I didn't want to have a shorts tan today. Now I do have maybe a sock tan because I do wear my running shoes when I'm walking. Okay, so let's get back to it. Here's my points today. I'm talking about fear is a persuasive thing. I'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about becoming an informed consumer. That's probably just all going to be some like reminders for all of us. Change doesn't automatically mean that there is a dysfunction having to do with menopause. And then before assuming a problem, let's ask better questions, just as I said, and your body isn't working against you. That's point number 5. And data creates confidence. And then my 7th point is going to be a little bit on my philosophy as a coach. All right. So my first point is this. you're going to see this, and people are drawn. It's human nature to be drawn to the drama, and fear is very persuasive. But when we are educated and we know the facts, it's empowering. That's the point I want to make here, because fear is going to grab our attention. Like, your body, your metabolism is, you're over 40 and your metabolism is broken. Listen to that language. It's scary. What? My metabolism is broken? And that's true in almost every area of marketing, not just to those of us in menopause, as we're aging in midlife, but it's in all marketing. When someone tells us, this is why you're struggling, there's almost a sense of relief, because it finally feels like, oh, we have an answer. So it's kind of like, your metabolism is broken, and that's why you can't lose weight. So I'm your answer. But simple answers aren't always complete answers. That's the thing. So when messages are like, your metabolism is broken, it's easy to stop asking other important questions that might actually move us forward and past the ridiculous marketing. There's a lot. And I didn't even mention this, but I've had some people come to me in my DMs on social media and ask me questions about Rock That Fitness and my coaching, because they're seeing marketing of certain programs and saying, aren't you just like them? And I have to stop and go, well, there are some similarities. Yes, we have a scientific approach. However, there's this, and that. So it has caused me to always take a step. I'm always taking a step back to say, what really does differentiate what I do? Because I don't stop asking questions, and neither should you. All right. Point number 2. Become an informed consumer. So one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is learning how to think critically, if you don't already. I'm always thinking this way. I think I have a natural knack for it, because when I was a little girl, my mom, she laughed there's a recording somewhere of me as a little girl always asking, I was not the child that asked why. I was the child that said, how come, mama, how come? That was me. Where did I get that? I don't know. But I didn't say why. I said, how come? We want to learn to think critically about your health, because you're exposed to information every day. And it's like, the other day I saw this one coach online explaining why GLP-1s aren't working. Like, if GLP-1s aren't working for you, and she went on this tangent, this long rant, and none of it was facts. She was talking about insulin. She was talking about hormones. And I was like, you're kidding me. No wonder our ladies out there are so confused. Too many crazy messages out there that are not true. So when I hear someone making a bold claim, I personally don't immediately accept it, and I don't immediately reject it either. I will get curious, or I try to. Sometimes I might be like, oh, that's BS. That's not true. But then I will think, well, is it? I mean, unless I really know it's not, right? But I like to get curious, and I think we all need to get curious. Like, what is the evidence? What is the evidence you have? And is this true for every woman, right? That's a great question to ask, because it may not be true for you. And are there other factors that could explain what is happening, especially when it comes to our hormones and our metabolism? Because believe me, it's not just one thing. And is this message that's coming to you from marketing, is it meant to educate you, or is it meant to scare you or to persuade you? Ask that question. I think that we owe it to ourselves, that kind of curiosity, because our bodies are changing, especially at this time, right? And so is our story. And so the question that we need to be asking, all these things are very nuanced. These headlines that come out on social media, they're just a bold claim, but there's so many nuances. Each person is so individual. And you know this, not every woman is having hot flashes. Not every woman is having night sweats. Not every woman is struggling with every one of these symptoms of menopause. Not everyone, okay? That's why we have to ask, well, but I mean, there are some common, right? There's a list of common symptoms. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. There's bold claims out there, and we want to be an informed consumer. We want to ask the question. And then if you are immediately pulled in, you have to ask yourself, is this true? What is the truth here? Be critical about it. And I feel the same way. If I'm out there saying something about, fat loss, fitness, my personal approach and method to fat loss, I welcome the questions. I will not make some kind of bold, generalized claim. And if I do, please come ask me some more details. I want you to ask the questions. That's why I love, love, love when people ask me the question, because that tells me they're trying to learn and be educated. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So as your coach, one of the things that I hope to help you become is a very informed consumer, because I don't want you to believe something simply because I said it, and I don't want you to believe something just because somebody else said it. I want you to understand your own body. I want you to understand your own body well enough to ask great questions and evaluate the information that you are given and make decisions with confidence because you are informed. And that's the best way to make a decision, not an emotional, decision out of fear. My point number 3, change. The changes. That's what they used to call it, right? Back in the old days. She's going through the change of life. I don't know why that's funny to me. It's so old fashioned. Let me get some water here. Uh-oh. I think I'm hearing mommy kitty talking. She's a talker, by the way. She's in there. I'm going to have to go visit her after this. The changes that we have as we're aging and we're having these shifts in hormones, that doesn't automatically mean that there's something wrong or there's a dysfunction in our body. One of the biggest mindset shifts that we can make is separating the idea of the changes from the idea that something is broken. Our bodies are designed to change throughout our life, right? We have changes through puberty. We have changes through pregnancy, and we're having changes as we age, and menopause is another change. So none of those automatically mean that our body has stopped working. They simply mean our approach may need to evolve alongside of it. And so this is why I don't see that menopause is a problem. It is just another phase in our life that we need to understand and evaluate. What do we need? How is our body responding? How is our body not responding? It's just another phase to better understand, to get educated, and especially educated, right, on our own individual body. Point number 4. So before, and again, this is similar, ask better questions. Before we assume that there's a problem, instead of immediately assuming that your metabolism is the problem, it may be more helpful to get curious. I love that. I love getting curious when something comes up. And it is a differentiating factor just in life. These are some of the questions that I think about when it comes to your fat loss, your health, your fitness, your body, your physique, your metabolism. Have you ever asked these questions to yourself? If not, think about this. Have I ever learned what my maintenance calories actually are? Big question. This is one of my biggest questions whenever I am working with a client. Do you know what your current maintenance calories are? Okay. Then the question may be, if you don't, then you don't. If you don't even know what maintenance calories is, then you definitely don't. So maybe you have the question, well, what is maintenance calories? Because not everybody knows what that means. Another one, have I consistently tracked my intake of calories long enough to know how much I'm really eating? Or even how many calories my body requires just to maintain my current weight? Another question, have I spent enough time in an appropriate calorie deficit? These are the questions to ask before we jump into thinking that our metabolism is a problem or that our hormones is a problem. The basics. Am I strength training consistently? Am I eating enough, not even enough, but optimal protein? How is my sleep? Sleep is huge. How is it? How's my stress level? Am I managing my stress? How is am I regulating my nervous system? Big deal, right? Very important that we do that. And how much am I moving throughout the day? What is my NEAT? my non-exercise activity thermogenesis. How much are we moving? Because these are the things that we're not paying attention to. And then women are just jumping into being afraid that their metabolism is broken. And these questions are not like, I'm not here to, blame you or blame somebody. It's just to gather information, to get curious, to learn about what's going on, to be informed, to make an informed decision about your health. People will say this all day long. Well, I'm just stuck. I eat healthy and I exercise all the time and nothing's happening. I can't lose weight anymore. That is so generalized, right? Like, have we stopped to ask these questions I just mentioned? Have you ever truly tracked your calories? Now, I want to stop here for just a minute because there are some people that have maybe something going on that's outside of the realm of quote unquote normal in their thinking or actual issues with, what do you call it? Your hunger and satiation hormones, your leptin and your ghrelin. Some people actually do have some deficiencies with their hormones. Okay. So but if you have been struggling, then let's go find out in your blood work, right? So really, if you're that person that says, I've been doing everything and nothing's changing, I've done it all, I've tracked all my calories, it doesn't work. I am not here to judge, but I have seen women say this, but then they haven't been truly accurately and consistently tracking. I mean, they may think they are, but then all of a sudden, well, let me see what your log looks like. And it'll be like turkey sandwich and like, it doesn't account for the mayonnaise on that sandwich. It doesn't account for the true calories of the bread that's on there. It doesn't account for, any number of things. What kind of meat is on, how many calories that really, breaking it down. And so a sandwich that they wrote down or they tracked as 200 calories turns out to be 500 calories or 400. And you see that's going to add up over the week and you're not really in a calorie deficit. So we've got to think critically. This is what I coach and how I train the ladies in Rock That Fitness. Like, let's look at the data. If you say, I was in a calorie deficit all week, my calorie average was 1,800 calories, but I only tracked for 4 days. I didn't track calories for 3 days. Well, then that wasn't your average for 7 days. Okay. So you see, like, we got to get critical thinking and get the data. And this becomes empowering. You're no longer guessing, and it's so empowering, so empowering. Number 5, your body isn't working against you. Okay. This, like I said, is another problem. It's probably a message that, this is one of the messages that I want every woman to walk away with, that your body is not your enemy. Your body is there to serve you and wants to do the best it can. And so, we want to honor our body and take care of our body. Your body is not your enemy. Your body is just going through normal changes. And if you think it's way abnormal, then again, we want to see the doctor. We want to get full labs taken care of and find out what's actually going on. I'm just basically talking to the person, the woman who does not have any real medical issues. Some of this does still apply to everybody because we need to be aware and ask critical questions and pay attention to how this marketing is going on. But when I'm talking about these little things, your body is not against you, okay? Even if you have a medical issue, your body is working hard to take care of you. And so it's adapting, it's doing its job, it's doing the best it knows, and it's responding to an environment that you give it. It's responding to, even if you are having whatever is going on with your body is still responding to the nutrition, how you approach your nutrition. It's responding to your activity level. It's definitely, hear me on this one, please. It's definitely responding to your stress levels. This is huge. And especially as we're aging, we want to be regulating that nervous system, because this is where I truly believe that illness and disease begin, is in the nervous system. This is why we want to regulate that. But your body is also responding to the recovery that you're allowing for. And it's responding to your sleep that you're giving it. And I'm not talking about just adequate. I'm talking about optimal sleep. And yes, it's also responding to, your hormones and your changing hormones. Excuse me. So when we begin to look at our bodies through that lens, then the conversation changes. It changes from frustration to, I'm genuinely curious, and we start to pay more attention to the biofeedback that we're getting from our body based on all of the things that we are doing daily. Point number 6, and data. All day long, I'm going to talk about data, because the data is what's creating the confidence. And I love this. I see this in the ladies that I coach in Rock That Fitness. They gain so much confidence the day that they decide that they're going to be accurate and consistent, not perfect, and they begin collecting data, because it's tangible. Like, okay, this is what happened. Here's the data. It's an experiment. It's like when you were in school, the science experiment, keep all variables the same, collect your data along the way. Now let's assess and evaluate and see what happened. What do we need to adjust? Do we keep going? Those kind of things, the data. So instead of saying nothing works anymore, we collect the data. We look at trends. We measure consistency. We evaluate our habits. We evaluate the, consistency of our habits, and we adjust based on the evidence instead of the emotion. That's why we're not here for the drama. We're here for the data. That's where confidence begins. And it's not because everything is perfect. This is not perfection. It's because we know what we're working with. And this is why we look back on things and go, okay, I was committed. I did my very best to show up in my nutrition and to hit my calorie target those last 4 weeks. And the data is showing me that I went over my calories on this day. So I was 85% consistent last month. And this was the result of that. Of course, there's other factors, right? But the point I'm trying to make is you can actually look at the data. Instead of, I ask you, how consistent were you last month on hitting your calorie deficit? And you go, oh, pretty consistent. Well, what was the consistency level, right? Because now we have data. If you don't have the data, then you don't know. We have to track our consistency if we want to know how consistent we are being. Okay, cheers. Let's chug some water. Okay, we're back. I think we're back. Boy, I sure hope I haven't been muting. That would be crazy. I sure hope. Okay. Feeling a little... No, I think we're good. Okay. So now my point number 7 is my philosophy as a coach. I don't believe that women need more fear. I absolutely think that's really working against you. I do not want us to. I think there ought to be like a healthy fear, right? A healthy fear, but we don't want to be focused on fear. We want to get curious. And I also don't believe that we need another reason to feel like our bodies are betraying us. Your body's not betraying you. And I believe that we need honest and real and evidence-based education. And we need practical tools. And we need the confidence that comes from understanding our bodies instead of fearing them. And confidence doesn't just come. It's something that we work on by practicing skills so that we become capable. And when we build our capabilities, these skills get built, that's when our confidence level grows. And I see this all the time in my clients. As they practice the tools in place that I give them, they are gaining confidence because they're seeing the data, they're seeing the changes, they're getting the results, and they become more and more confident in what they're doing for their own individual body. So I believe we need to understand all these things and not fear what's happening with our body. Menopause, it may mean that we have to approach things a little bit differently. We have to prioritize protein, definitely, because everybody who's aging, we're going to need to prioritize protein because our bodies are not processing protein as efficiently as it used to. Our bodies are aging. And we want to protect our muscle, and we want to pay closer attention to recovery. Big one. I see this because, if we are constantly training every single day, working out, we're not giving our body the chance to recover, which as we're aging, we really need to pay attention to our recovery. We're going to make so much more and better results with our fat loss and our body composition when we pay close attention to our recovery. That's a big one, especially as we're aging. So those are adjustments. This whole thing is an adjustment as we're aging. I'm right there with you, girl. I get it. I'm doing the same. The only difference is I'm a little bit ahead of you, but I'm still evaluating my biofeedback and what's going on with me. And I'm getting my blood work done. Actually, just reminding myself I need to get a full comprehensive again. So there is no evidence that we're broken. And so in closing, if anything that I said to you on this episode, I hope there was something in here. I'm curious though. If anything spoke to you today, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. My main point today that I really hope that you walk away with is, yes, our bodies are changing, but our bodies are not necessarily, they're not broken. One of the things that I think a lot of the women that I work with that come to me, what has happened, just in this realm of not being able, like your body's not working like it used to, especially if like you've been dieting, you've repeatedly dieted, like literal, like legit you have, not just being in a diet mentality, thinking you're dieting. I'm talking about you truly have been in an extreme calorie deficiency, extreme restriction over and over, and you've lost weight. And you did not do anything to preserve your lean mass, like strength training, which is very important before protein. You need protein, yes, to build muscle, but we need strength training, resistance training. We need strength training on a structured plan to maintain our muscle mass. And what happens is if we have been dieting, truly dieting, and losing weight over and over, keep gaining back weight, what's happening is you're losing not just fat, you're losing muscle mass. So think about how many times you've been on a diet and you've lost muscle mass every time if you haven't been strength training and maintaining your lean muscle mass. So what happens is when you gain back weight after being on a diet, you're not gaining back muscle. You're just gaining back fat. So what ends up happening is diet after diet, losing weight, losing muscle along the way, not maintaining muscle mass. Now you are going to be, your body will potentially be very under muscled and over fat. It's just science. It's just the facts, right? And when that happens, and we don't have as much muscle mass, yes, our metabolism is downgrading. I mean, it's not significant, but it is over time because muscle mass requires energy to exist when it's on you, right? When you have muscle mass, your body is naturally going to be burning more calories, burning more energy, because that is a living tissue that requires energy. I hope I didn't get too much in the weeds with that. I hope that makes sense. But I think it's exciting to know that. See, that's knowledge. Now you know. You don't want to just lose weight. And so real quick little interjection of information for those of you who may be on a GLP-1 right now. I want to encourage you to make sure that you are on a structured strength training program. I'm happy for you if a GLP-1 is helping you. It's something like you really legitimately have been doing all of the basics and you've been having an issue for losing fat, and now you're under a provider who is monitoring you, and you're on a GLP-1, and now you are getting results. We still need to be doing all of the things. We still need to be strength training. We still need to be knowing what our calories are, how much energy our body, because what happens is if a lot of women will get on these medications. I'm sorry, I'm getting on a little tangent here, but I'm going to close in a minute. But I just want you to know, I want you to be informed, and I want you to feel empowered. If you are on a GLP-1, just be sure that you're still doing the things and building habits for yourself, because you want to take care of this body. You don't want to just lose weight and now you are weak, you're fatigued, you're tired. See, we need to know how many calories our body's taking in and learn that. It's not a sentence for life. It's just learn it for yourself and make sure you're strength training to maintain your lean body mass. All right. I think it's about time that we close up this episode. I just want to remind you, yes, your body is changing, but that doesn't mean that your body is failing, right? And you don't need to fear that your body is changing. We don't need to fight our body. We don't need to believe that we're broken. We're not. Cheers again. We simply need to continue to understand our body and understand our body as it's changing, and we'll understand a little bit better each day. And the more you understand your body, the more confidence you're going to have making decisions to support your health for the years to come. And that's it, girl. That's all I got. I don't even have do this. Oh, actually I do. I have been thinking a lot about what's coming next. Am I going to be doing another Kickstart small group? I don't know right now. I really don't. But I would get on the list so that you'll stay informed about the next offer that I have. So that'll be in the show notes. And if you don't know, my Kickstart program is my 6-week small group program where I walk you step by step through nutrition for fat loss, getting started in strength training, whether you're a beginner or you're just coming back, and then a lot of mindset. And we do coaching weekly in this small group for implementation. That's Kickstart. But I have some things I'm working on that are new and exciting. And I'm not going to say what it is, but you're going to want to know. So if you're not on my email list, if you're not on the Rockstar Fit Chick Weekly, I do want to urge you to get on that, because that you'll definitely stay in the loop with me there. So that'll be in the show notes to get on that list, and then you'll know what's going on. I'll keep you up to date. That's it, girl. I love you so much. I really appreciate your time. That's a commodity that is, I know we can't get back, and that's why I just value that you took time to listen today. Please share this episode. Please share the podcast. I'd love if you did that, and thank you again for listening. And as always, self-care, self-love, all day, every day, in every way. Do I have your word? Good. Let's rock.